As you can tell by the title now, the CW Network, the channel that's mostly known for their teen and young adult romance dramas, is looking to resurrect the 80s anthology horror TV show from the 1980s, Tales from the Darkside. Oh my god, I have so much respect for this. I'm going to talk about how this could be awesome for the horror franchise and how this could also be insignificant and not mean much. So what are the positives? First off, if you have Chiller, if you live in the USA, you can watch Chiller. It's a horror network. It's like the only good show that they play. Tales from the Darkside. It's a little dated. It was from the mid-80s to late 80s. But there's some stories that are timeless and also just some classics. Like this one guy sells his soul. These two rich guys play a game of pool for the guy's soul. It's similar to, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from Twilight Zone, and, Night Gallery and Monsters. But unlike some of those who are more sci-fi, this is like more horror and thriller oriented. And it's supposed to be resurrected by producer Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orci for the summer of 2014. And the only writer they have attached right now is Joe Hill. I really hope that he doesn't write all the stories. I don't want to see a writer write a whole season's worth of short anthologies. I'd rather see a bunch of different writers. Even his dad, Stephen King. This is the son of Stephen King, who was the little boy in Creepshow. You see, after Stephen King even wrote shows, a few episodes for Tales from the Darkside, which was produced by George A. Romero after the success of Creepshow 1982, and these guys were hardcore fans of the 50s era of horror comics. So then they brought it to the television, the small screen, and it was a huge success. And so, like I was saying, back to the resurrection of this, it's really shocking that the CW would be in on this. It's totally not their style. I really don't want to see... It really wouldn't make sense if they do it contemporary to the point where it's all young models again. Former Abercrombie and Fitch models lined up. Don't really see that as exciting. But also, one thing you might be saying, oh, they resurrected the Twilight Zone in the 2000s, and that sucked. Yeah, that was Forrest Whitaker, and he looks like he just, drove into work in, with a cappuccino and just rolled out of bed and just did the intro. He didn't even try like Rod Serling. You see, those guys have hosts like the Crypt Keeper, and they created an identity for those shows. This one had this awesome 80s intro where he's like, Tales from the Darkside, and it's like this instrumental that's just amazing. Just type in Tales from the Darkside intro into YouTube, and you'll see it, and you'll absolutely want to watch all the episodes. So many episodes that I'd recommend. But anyway, back to the writer, Joe Hill, like I was saying. He was the writer of Horns, which is that upcoming Alexander Aja directed film with Daniel Radcliffe. Also, he apparently did a pilot with Robert Orci and Alex Kurtzman based on his comic book series Lock and Key for Fox. And apparently that only got as far as the pilot stage. So anyway, I think I've pretty much said everything I had to say. They're going to be working on this and expected to debut in the summer of 2014. Like I was saying, cannot wait for this. I'll probably talk about this again before it comes out, and I'm